Hi everyone, I'm Lily. Happy New Year to you all. How is 2020 going to look like? So today I'm going to talk about the 10 black swans to watch out in 2020. Number one, we probably already seen that. That's the American and Iran crisis, the Middle East crisis. Well, it seems there's a war. It hasn't started, just finished. Well, it looks strange, but I think deep we have seen two issues. One is the new trend of modern warfare. That means I kill the head of the enemy or the state instead of killing thousands of people in battlefield. So we might see more peace or less people die. Second, I just show modern warfare is not about land or resources, oils. It's more about technology and clash of civilizations. It's more about religions, beliefs, political systems, and social systems. So that's why Donald Trump not interested in involved too much in Middle East, and he's not interested in changing the regime of Iran. Well, so in 2020, there are going to be more terrorist attacks. We don't know. And is there going to be another bigger war? We're not sure. Number two, that's another kind of war. It's the war between China and America. It's a trade war between China and America. On the surface, it's about trade. It's about the trade deficit of America. It's about pork, soybean, about intellectual property protection, about technology transfer. But actually, deep issue is two. One is globalization. Globalization, more and more, we've seen globalization in the last 20 years. More technology and investment went to developing countries like China or India. But of course the problem, it's caused the problem of the manufacturing sector in developed countries. So quite a lot of people in manufacturing sector lost their jobs. On the other hand, the developing countries, because of their political system, their rich and poor, the gap still enlarged. So globalization caused the gap between rich and poor in the whole world increasing. On the other side, that's another clash of civilization on economy side. So one side value obey the law, individualism, freedom, and free trade. Another side is value the authorities, powers, and national capitalism. So that's another deeper clash of America and China. So the trade war between America and China, is it going to cause more trouble in the global scale? We don't know. Third, maybe that's the biggest black swan. Is 2020 going to be another global economic crisis? World Bank already gave us the warning. The global debt level reaching the highest level. It's the 230% of GDP. So previously we had three waves of the debt crisis, 87, 97, and 2008. 2020 is the debt level, the high debt level, going to cause another global economic crisis? We don't know. Number four, Brexit. Yes, last year, Boris Johnson won the election, so Brexit is a certainty. But Brexit doesn't mean Brexit succeed. This year, they're going to have lots of negotiations with the EU. UK's been in EU for 46 years, so there are lots of links in political and economics, trade and finance, business, and the human resources. So this year they're going to start the negotiation with the EU. They're going to re-sign all those agreements. They cost lots of money and energy. On the other side, UK's economy is not going very well. Last year they had stagnation. That means they have increase of the costs, but the growth is very stagnant. So if UK economy and politically get into chaos, it's going to have a crisis in UK. Number 5, EU crisis. Of course, the EU crisis will be caused by Brexit. Once the UK is out, the Germans, the French, the Italians will ask themselves, are we going to stay or are we going to leave? If UK people can vote to leave, why can't we? What's the benefit to stay in EU? And EU's got its own problem, bureaucracy and the large organization and the regulations. Also, they have lots of lefties and the green movement. So make it very inefficient. On the other side, the EU zone economy is not going well. Germany, the engine of EU zone. It's got German economy suffer a lot in 2019. It's at the edge of recession or already into recession. So if German economy is not going well, other countries like Italy, Spain, France, the EU economy is not going to be very well. From pressure from both sides, we might see crisis in EU. Number 6, let's talk about the American presidential impeachment and end of the year, the election. I think that's a struggle between left and right. Last year, the House passed the impeachment act for Donald Trump. This year, they're going to go to the Senate to do the final decision. I think Donald Trump pretty maybe safe over there because the Senate is majority are Republicans. They have 53 seats. They need 67 seats to pass the impeachment. So he probably safe over there. But his biggest challenge is the election. He's going to seek the re-election. America economy is going quite well in 2019. All the indicators showing economy going very strong. So it's a good sign for Donald Trump. The presidential election is a political event, but eventually that's about the economy, just like Bill Clinton said. But like we see it, there may be a global crisis in 2020. So the American economy is going to change the wind or not. So we don't know. Number 7, China crisis. Chinese economy has lots of problems in 2019 or the last 5 years. The biggest problem is debt problem. The World Bank's report showing the world economy, the world debt level is very high and the Chinese debt is the highest. So China's export sector, consuming sector and manufacturing sector all going very bad. And China's GDP has only reached 6% last year. And that's the official rate. The actual rate is, I think it's much worse, about 4 or 5%. Also, China facing lots of other problems like Hong Kong problem, Taiwan problem, and Chinese government doesn't really have the tool to solve all those problems. All they can do is to keep the stability of the society. China might go back to planned economy. Number 8, Hong Kong crisis. Yes, Hong Kong's in big trouble. Last year, we've seen big protests in August, just anti-government protests. Because Hong Kong people, they have the fear of losing their democracy. And they think the one country, two system doesn't work. So they want to fight. They want to fight for their freedom, fight for their democracy. But the government doesn't back up. The conflict between the government and people are getting worse. So we see Hong Kong economy suffer a lot. Hong Kong's GDP shrank for 2.9% last year. As a financial and economical hub of Asia, even the world, Hong Kong's getting into crisis. So what will influence the rest of the world? We don't know. Number 9, Latin America. Well, since 2016, Latin America is in trouble. We see Brazil, Argentina, Chile all have big protests. Even people call that Latin America's spring. I think they have a cycle of problem. They have a growth of economy for a while, and then its economy slow down, and they have corruption. They have the gap between rich and poor. So people go on the street to protest. They want to change the government. If it's too much chaos, the military will be involved. So there will be change of regime. So in 2020, are we going to see more chaos in Latin America? We don't know. Last but not least, the climate crisis. Well, I'm in Australia at the moment. I've seen the fire. I can smell the smokes. The climate change is real, is here. But the real problem is what really caused it. Is it really human behavior or natural cycle? Oh, okay, let's just assume that's human behavior caused climate change. What are we going to do with it? Going to protest in front of the Swedish parliament doesn't work, because most of them, 80% of the pollution, 80% of the greenhouse effect is caused by China, India, and other developing countries. They have 3 billion people to feed. How can you tell them about environmental protection or green or peace? So we need to find a really effective way to solve this climate crisis. So in 2020, are we going to see more natural disasters? Are we going to see more extreme weather? The answer is yes. But the biggest challenge is, how are we going to solve this problem effectively? Okay, that's all for today. Thank you very much. If you like my program, please subscribe.